Break the chains, become the fire. There comes a moment in your life when you realize you've been playing small. You've been living by rules you never agreed to. You've been chained, not by the world, but by your own patterns, your own fears, your own habits. And in that moment, you have a choice. Stay bound or burn it all down and rise. That's what today is about. This isn't just a speech. This is a wake-up call. It's time to break the chains. It's time to become the fire. The people who are respected, remembered, and followed didn't get there by being the most qualified. They got there because they made a decision and they acted on it relentlessly. They weren't looking for someone to choose them. They chose themselves. And that choice created momentum. And that momentum created power. Real power. Not because someone handed it to them, but because they claimed it through decision. Power comes from decision, not permission. It's one of the most liberating truths you can internalize, yet most people live their entire lives waiting for approval, for validation, for someone to say, "You're ready now." They wait for a green light that was never anyone else's to give. They wait for perfect conditions, for the right moment, for everything to line up just right. But the people who create change, the ones who build something meaningful, they decide, they move. You weren't born with limits, you were born with potential, massive, untapped, extraordinary potential. But somewhere along the way, someone told you you can't, and you believed it. Someone laughed at your idea and you shut down. You tried once, you failed, and you labeled yourself incapable. That's how most people live. They don't hit their actual ceiling, they hit the mental ceiling they built after enough rejection, fear, or failure. Your limitations are self-imposed. It's a powerful statement, simple on the surface, but if you sit with it long enough, it hits like a freight train. The truth is, most of the walls in your life weren't built by the world around you. They were built brick by your own beliefs, your own doubts, and your own repeated choices to shrink rather than stretch. They weren't placed there by fate or bad luck or someone else's opinion. You placed them there quietly, over time, through the stories you've told yourself and the standards you've chosen to settle for. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself before you even began? How many goals died in your mind before they ever had a chance to live in the real world? That business idea you never launched, that conversation you never had, that version of yourself you keep dreaming about but haven't become yet, not because you can't, but because at some point you convinced yourself it wasn't for you. That is self-imposed limitation. And here's the kicker. It feels real. It feels justified. Your brain comes up with all kinds of clever reasons to stay small. It tells you it's being realistic, that now isn't the right time, that you don't have enough experience, money, support, or whatever the excuse of the day is. But deep down, if you're honest, you know the truth. It's fear dressed up as logic. It's comfort disguised as wisdom, and it's costing you everything you were born to do. You can blame the world if you want. You can point fingers. But that won't change your life. Owning the fact that your limits are mostly self-imposed, that will. Because the moment you own it is the moment you can change it. Nobody escapes pain. Nobody gets to live without fear or failure. But some people rise above it, not because they're better, smarter, or more privileged, but because they refuse to be caged by their own mind. They question their own limits. They push back. They decide, I won't live on repeat. And when that decision is real, when it's no longer negotiable, you begin to see that the only thing that ever truly stood in your way is zero. Playing it safe keeps you small. It sounds like a warning, and it should be. Because playing it safe is one of the most subtle, seductive traps you can fall into. It doesn't feel wrong at first. It feels smart, sensible, secure. You follow the rules. You avoid risk. You keep your head down and your heart guarded. And in doing so, you think you're protecting yourself. But what you're really doing is shrinking quietly, slowly, consistently. Greatness demands uncertainty. It demands exposure. It demands the willingness to leap even when there's no guarantee you'll land. The people who rise, the people who lead, the people who leave a mark, they aren't fearless. They just decided that playing small was a bigger risk than taking the shot. They knew failure was part of the process, not the end of the road. They knew comfort was the enemy of change. When you play it safe, you avoid failure, but you also avoid growth. You avoid discomfort, but you also avoid breakthroughs. You might keep yourself from being hurt, embarrassed, or judged, but you also keep yourself from being truly alive. You numb the fear, but in the process, you numb your potential. You shrink your world so nothing can shake you, but nothing can stretch you either. And before you realize it, years pass, you're still fine, still comfortable, but deep down, you feel something's missing, and it is you're missing. The real you, the bold you, the limitless you. You're the only one. Comfort is a cage disguised as a cushion. It lulls you into routine. It convinces you that average is acceptable. It feeds you just enough certainty to keep you from chasing what could be extraordinary. You wake up every day doing what's expected, not what's possible. You choose what's familiar over what's fulfilling. And every time you do that, you reinforce the belief that safety is more valuable than growth. But here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Nothing worth having comes without risk. Nothing powerful is built in the comfort zone. You weren't built for a predictable life. You were built for challenge, for growth, for impact. Playing it safe might keep you out of danger, but it also keeps you out of greatness. Safety is a slow death. And every moment you spend hiding from risk, you're also hiding from your own potential. Every time you say no to opportunity because it's unfamiliar, every time you hesitate when your gut tells you to go, every time you choose what's safe instead of what sets your soul on fire, you're making a choice to stay small, not just in your career or your goals, but in your identity, in who you are becoming. People give away their power every day by thinking they need to earn the right to act. They seek permission from parents, peers, partners, society, anyone but themselves. They think someone out there holds the keys to their future. But that's an illusion. No one is coming to unlock the door for you. No one is going to tell you that you're finally enough. You have to be the one to claim it. The day you stop asking for permission is the day you start owning your life. There's something primal and transformative about making a real decision. Not a wish, not a vague intention, a decision backed by resolve. A decision that says, this is happening, and I'm making it happen. That kind of decision flips a switch inside you. It activates a different level of energy, focus, and commitment. Suddenly, the excuses lose power, the fears shrink. You stop looking outward for confirmation and start moving forward with certainty. Think of every meaningful transformation and every breakthrough. At the center of it is a decision. A moment where someone got fed up with their own excuses, tired of their own story, and decided to draw the line. No more waiting, no more wondering, just action. That's where the real power lives, in the commitment to move even when you're not sure where the path leads. It's in betting on yourself before anyone else does. Your mind is a master of justification. It knows how to protect you from perceived danger, especially the danger of failure, rejection, or change. So it creates stories that feel safe. It's not the right time. I need more information. I'll do it when things settle down. These don't sound like excuses. They sound like strategy, but underneath they're rooted in fear, not readiness, resistance, not timing, avoidance. Excuses are subtle. They evolve with your situation. When you're young, they might sound like, I don't have experience. When you're older, they shift to, it's too late to start now. When you're broke, they say, I need more money. When you're successful, they say, I have too much to lose. The language changes, but the root is the same. Fear dressed up as logic. A voice that sounds like your inner strategist, but is really your inner saboteur. You start to build an identity around these rationalizations. You begin to believe you're just someone who's careful, methodical, realistic. But look closer. Real caution involves awareness and still includes movement. Real strategy means action. Excuses, on the other hand, keep you stagnant while convincing you you're still being productive. They feel responsible, but they lead to regret. You think you're protecting yourself from failure, but you're actually just delaying the life you're capable of living. Excuses disguise themselves as logic. It's one of the most dangerous truths in personal growth. Because excuses don't always sound weak or lazy, they often sound intelligent, rational, and even responsible. That's what makes them so convincing. They don't walk in the door dressed as fear. They come wearing the mask of common sense. You tell yourself you're being cautious, you're planning ahead, you're thinking it through, but what you're really doing is hesitating, avoiding, protecting yourself from discomfort under the illusion of wisdom. The beauty of this fire inside you is that it's unique. No one else has your exact combination of experiences, talents, and vision. No one else can burn your fire like you can. You have something powerful and original waiting for you to unlock it fully. The moment you realize this, that the strength you seek isn't somewhere out there, but inside you, you begin to live differently. You begin to act differently. You begin to lead differently. That fire is your resilience, your courage, your hunger. It's your inner voice that says, keep going, even when everything tells you to quit. It's your passion for the things that matter to you, the goals that make your heart beat faster and your mind race with possibilities. And it's the energy that fuels your dreams, not just to exist, but to thrive, to create, and to impact the world around you. You've experienced that fire before, even if only in flashes. Moments when you felt unstoppable, moments when you overcame fear or pushed through pain and came out stronger. Those moments were glimpses of your true nature. The fire isn't gone. It never left. It's been waiting patiently for you to recognize it again, to feed it with belief and action. Too often, people look outward for motivation. They seek it in books, speeches, other people's success stories, or the perfect circumstances. They think they need to be handed the key or stumble on a magical moment that will light their soul on fire. But what they don't realize is that the power to ignite change, to push through obstacles and to rise above fear is already burning deep inside. It's just been buried under doubt, distraction, or years of self-limiting belief. But here's the challenge. Fire needs fuel. If you want that spark to become a roaring blaze, you have to nourish it. You have to feed it with discipline, with focus, with relentless commitment. You have to protect it from the rains of negativity, the winds of distraction, and the cold of self-doubt. When you do that, your fire becomes unstoppable. It lights your path forward. It warms your soul. It inspires others to find their own flames.